Up next, how you can use social media to gather information about a target.
You're watching IT Pro TV.
Hello and welcome to IT Pro TV. This is CEH. I'm Kathy. This is Daniel.
Hola.
We're so glad you're here.
Yes, we are.
So we have been warned time and time again, be careful what you post on social media.
Oh, man. Yes. Why do you think that is? And that's why we're here today.
That's why we're here, to talk about that.
Because that's a problem.
It is a problem. What are some things we can learn just by looking at somebody's social media pages?
And I think this is that question, right? What can we learn? Honestly, what can't you learn, right?
Just about everything.
Think about the idea of behind social media. What's even the purpose of it? The purpose is for you to showcase your life online so you can live a digital existence, right? And I guess that's cool for some people. I'm a wicked paranoid person now that I'm in security, so I try to remove myself in a lot of ways and only present a professional side of my life online. And nowhere near do I have a lot of personal things that I put out there for the world to see. And that bleeds over and is very true as well for organizations, right? It's not just people on social media anymore. It's organizations. They have a presence on social media. Here at IT Pro TV, we have a full marketing staff who does, part of their job is to make sure that we have a social media presence, that we are putting things out there to let you know what kind of cool things that we're going to be doing, webinars. We're even doing things like TikTok now, right? So if there's a social media platform, we want to be a part of it and have a voice on there so that people can be aware of us. We're not the only ones that do that. We did not invent that game. We're just trying to perfect it, right? Just trying to run it. So what does that mean? Well, as Kathy so eloquently pointed out, what can we learn from social media site? I think the answer to that question is kind of embezzled into the idea of what social media is. So we can learn a ton about a company itself. You can learn logos, right? You look at logos, learn where they are. We've talked about geographic locations and things of that nature, all the physicalities behind that stuff. But not only that, we can learn from their website. Go to their website and see what's on there. If they're on a social media platform, they're probably promoting whatever service or product that they do on said platform. So you just have to follow. You just have to watch and see. This is information they want you to know, but sometimes they don't understand how sensitive that information could be, or even if it doesn't seem sensitive at the time, and maybe even per se isn't, it could be used to extrapolate or deduce some sensitive information, right? Almost like you're reverse engineering sensitive information from your organizations that you're targeting or that a threat actor would be targeting. If we're doing this, that's what we want to do. We want to act like they would. So we want to be able to engage in social media platforms, use them for recon for those purposes of looking for that company information. Now, the company is comprised of not only the building and the product and all that, but as well as the people. And guess what? People go on social media. Kathy, let me ask you a question here.
Uh-oh.
Ever taken a picture at work and posted it on social media?
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
That's fun, isn't it? So I wonder, just me, one guy.
I'm putting us all in danger.
Right. I wonder what kind of information I could glean from Kathy's pictures. What kind of hardware are they using for technology? Is it Mac? Is it PC? Is it both? Okay, that's good. That's information I can take in and maybe use. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, oh, Daniel, there's no way you can, just because you saw a MacBook, that you're going to go, I now have a way to get into the system. You know what? And on the face, that might actually be true, right? But if I know of, or I have created my own zero-day exploit that affects the Apple product, well, maybe I do have a way on its face to get in just because I know they're using Mac. I'm going to start a phishing campaign, see if I can't get a couple of people to open an attachment which contains what? My zero-day exploit, and I'm going to be owning a bunch of machines inside of their organization. Just because Kathy took a picture and I saw a MacBook, that allowed me to gain access. So is that a really contrived situation? Maybe to some extent, but it's not untrue. It's not like it doesn't happen. It does. So if you are putting those things out there for people to see, they can learn a bunch of information, right, about the organization itself through the employees. Now, it's not where we stop. You think, oh my goodness, how much more could you learn from social media? Well, I can learn about the people that work there, right? I look at Kathy's posts on the different social media sites that she frequents, and I see, oh, she loves Starbucks. She loves she's working out, doing CrossFit. I'm seeing things about her. Oh, that's cool. Is that a picture of her badge? Cool. Now I've got a good image, maybe, of what the badge looks like. Maybe if I'm doing a physical assessment, I can make a badge that looks at least similar enough to pass a quick inspection, if not a full high-res detail. Because I don't know if you've ever seen people go, I started a new job.
Yep.
Here's my
The
badge,
picture.
right? And they're super happy
Yeah.
about it. And you get a really nice high-res photo of what their badge looks like.
Yep.
Maybe even what type of badge they're using, if it's using something like RFID. So if I wanted to do badge cloning, I would know what type to get. Right? Picture the photos from that come out of phones nowadays, ridiculously high quality. I mean, super high megapixels. So zooming in is going to give me a lot of good detail. I can look around and see what's going on. Maybe I see something on a screen behind their back that has sensitive information in it. So we don't want to discount the idea of just using our eyes and looking on social media through the employees that work for an organization or are connected to an organization and learning about things like their interests and stuff like that. So maybe I could target them for a phishing campaign, especially if they're a high-level executive, financial officer, things of that nature. Other things we can learn, things like email addresses, right? That's typically common. Hey, here's my email. If you want to get in contact with me, you can do so at, I guess you're Kathy at itpro.tv, right?
I think so.
Yeah, there you go. I'm Daniel at itpro.tv. Oh no, now you know my email. What have I done? I've let the cat out of the bag. That's, again, that's public knowledge,
Right.
I'm not exposing anything. Other things that we can learn are technologies that they use in the organization. So maybe they're posting about, man, we're rolling out this, I don't know, what's a big one, like Salesforce, right? Super big. A lot of people use that. But if I know you're using Salesforce, maybe that, or maybe you're saying, our development team just worked with this custom CMS called X. Cool. Now I'm going to go recon that and see what I can learn about that, see if there's any kind of vulnerabilities attached to said technology. Again, we talked about badges, professional connections, another really good one, especially for that social engineering credence that you're looking for as you're talking with those people or engaging with them in some way, shape, or form. And then third-party details. So if I work with vendors or people that maybe supply me with materials for our organization to build a product, it would be good to know who those third-party connections are. So if I need to do something like social media, or if I want to do a supply chain attack, all that stuff starts coming into play. And that's what we're talking about on I'm just tip of the iceberg here on what you could do with social media, looking for it for a good reconnaissance.
Yeah, you had briefly mentioned TikTok. What other social media sites? I guess all of them, right? Usual suspects.
You know what? Honestly, yes. The answer is
Probably
all of
some that we don't even know.
them. Probably, and that's a good place to start. Are those standard, run of the mill? Everybody's probably got a Facebook page. Everybody's probably got a Twitter account of some ilk, if not just an organizational Twitter account, but the employees themselves will have Twitter accounts and be talking randomly about their work. So you're going to want to start following all those people. What else we got? LinkedIn's a great one, especially for businesses, because businesses do business on LinkedIn. So you want to check that out, start to connect and follow, see what they have available, what they're making public. You never know what some intern accidentally slips through. I'll tell you a prime example, right? That SolarWinds had a hack not too long ago, and it was because an intern got, not because there was a social media hack, but this just goes to show you, like, when people don't have enough information they don't know any better, and they do things they shouldn't do. So maybe an intern is doing things like taking pictures of their desk and the technology and things, maybe some behind the scenes looks that they shouldn't be showing to the general public at large. But that intern at SolarWinds, they use like SolarWinds 123 or password 123 as their main platform password that they had control over for some unknown reason, right? So you gotta be on the lookout for that stuff if you want to effectively enumerate and recon your target using social media. So you're gonna be on those standard haunts that most people are on, and then look and see if they've got any other social media presences out there. And there are some really, like, especially if you're doing business in other countries, a lot of them will have their own social media sites that aren't really US popular in the US, should I say. So if that's the case, you're going to want to get in on those platforms and see what kind of information you can get from those too.
All right, so you had talked about a lot of these. We can just look, right? I can just Google names.
You can.
And then if I Google Kathy Chambers, like my LinkedIn site, comes up. Like you can just find me by doing that. But is there a way? Is there something that can do it for us? Save us some time.
Man, isn't it nice when computers automate things for us? Absolutely. There is a lovely tool that I like to use to do this kind of work. It's called the Harvester. I want to always add of sorrow because I'm a Metallica fan, but there you go. Right. I didn't name the thing, but it's a really cool tool. Let's jump in a computer here. I'll show you how it works. At least give you a walk around of it really quickly. So if you don't have it installed, you just do an apt-get install, yum install, whatever you do to install stuff. It's definitely in the Kali repositories. It's not in your repositories. You might have to go and download it, source, compile, fun stuff, right? But for me, I just did an install of it with apt-get. So for me, I'm going to run the capital H Harvester, like so. I'll do a -H to kind of get the help file here. And let's kind of walk through some of the options that it gives us. So this is showing you some usage, love usage. So I'm looking for a domain with a -D. I'm guessing the -H is something like host. We can look down here. Oh, no, that's the help. Well, I added the H. I know that. There are so many tools with a -H that don't do help, though, that I use, so it can confuse me from time to time. Welcome to the madness. That is my mind. All right, then we got -L to limit things, -S to start, GPSV, all sorts of good stuff. Let's go down here and see what this is all talking about. We do like the -D because that tells it what domain we want to look for. And then this limit says limit the number of search results. The default is 500. So that's good. You might get just too inundated with search results. You don't want to have to page through all this stuff. So maybe say, hey, keep it down to 100, and then I'll come back for more later. Start with result number blank. The default is 0. Interesting. I don't know why we would do that, but you can if you need to. Hey, it's got Google Dorks in there. So if you want to use Google Dorks for the actual search functionality, it can do a port scan. That's neat to know. And look, there's Shodan. If this is all like unfamiliar to you, you're not watching in order. And there is a Google Dorks episode. There is a Shodan Census Thankful episode, which we have talked if you're watching this in order. So if you haven't, go back and watch that. It's going to be really cool. Let's see here though. But really what we want to do is we want to see this thing work. It's got a lot of good stuff. You can do some DNS brute forcing. That's fun. Save results into a file. That's always a good idea, to save your stuff out into a file so that you can reference it later. You don't have to redo work, right? Why redo work? It seems redundant. The redundancy, what is it? The redundant Department of Redundancy? That's Wes's favorite, right? He loves that stuff. All right, and then this is kind of important, the -B here for source. So what sources do you want to pull from? So we've got Bing stuff. I'm not familiar with like Search Spotter or Bing API. I guess that's the API for Bing. Baidu, DNS Dumpster, Dogpile, DuckDuckGo. So a lot of those typical search engines. So let's do one. Let's do one against IT Pro TV. Let's see what we get with this. Oh man, what are we doing? I'm pulling the wheels off of it here. No more training wheels for us. So we do a -D for domain, which is itpro.tv, and I'll do a -B, which tells me I could do all. But you know what though? I'm gonna leave it. Let's do Bing. No, I'm gonna do Bing. I'm doing Bing. I'm not giving you Bing. I'll do LinkedIn. Let's see here. I bet Google's in there somewhere. Did I see? Yep, there's Google. Google. And we'll leave it at that. That's fine. Go. And it's searching. So it's going after Google. It's going to find the first 500 results. So far, it looks like we're coming up with bupkis off of Google. Bummer. Let's see if LinkedIn comes up any better. But you get the idea, right? It's automating that search process. It's trying to find any information that might be connected to the itpro.tv domain. And if we're lucky, we'll find something. If not, we're probably doing good OPSEC here. And maybe we just need to refine the search to come up with a little more action, as it were, right? And we did find one thing, right? We found an email address, valerie@itpro.tv. So now I've got that. I can say, cool, slap that in my emails file. Definitely good email. I've got valerie@itpro.tv. Possibly a user, might even be a user account, right? You know how you log in. What's your login? Well, my email is going to be my username, and then my password's whatever my password. Maybe I'm going to try to brute force some login portal or use something that only requires me to know a valid user account to gain access to it. So that could be good. We've got a couple of what looks like subdomains down here because we've got go.itpro.tv and there's the IP address for it. We've got www.itpro.tv and multiple IP addresses for that, probably doing some sort of load balancing. I would venture a guess that that's AWS because I'm pretty sure we use AWS here to support our site. So that's probably a load balancing IP. Very cool stuff. I'm learning about my target. Now I only got a little bit of information, but we just got started. I would go back, I would try to do other searches, maybe do an all search and just grab everything it can and just have to wait the time. Now that took us a little, I try to keep it low for time purposes because we're doing a demonstration. We don't want to sit here forever. But I would go back and search all the other avenues that I would have to the harvester, maybe even find other tools that would allow me to do similar things and come up with different results. You always want to try multiple stuff if you can to try to see, did I miss anything with this tool? And maybe this tool missed something that one did, giving you the best look possible. So there you go. That's one good way to do some recon against the organization and the employees in the organization using things like social media.
Awesome. So let's look at some of those key points that we learned today about social networking recon. I love this first point, useful info. You learned some useful info today. Now, that's not what that means. That means we can use social media sites to find useful information about others. We talked about the usual suspects, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and the tool, the harvester.
The harvester.
Harvester.
Of sorrows. Language of the man.
I had a little social southern twang there when I was trying to say it.
The harvester.
Harvester.
Girl, is that a Kentucky harvester?
All right, more CH coming your way. Stay with us on IT Pro TV.
Thank you for watching IT Pro TV.